So, Wicked revealed the truth, or rather, it highlighted the truth, the realness of female relationships. You guys, I finally watched it yesterday, and I have to say, before I get into what I'm about to say, which is a lot of it's not going to be good. I just want to preface, but not the movie, but what it revealed, because I feel like it was very real. But we'll come to that, because a lot of the things that I saw and I noticed, I felt like people didn't say. Did I invite the Holy Spirit? Holy Spirit, please be with us. So before I get into what I have to say about the things in the movie, I first of all want to acknowledge Cynthia and Ariana Grande for their insane talent. They are insanely talented, both as singers and performers as a whole, actors, dancers, performing artists. Incredible. I was so impressed. I don't know that I've ever been that impressed with something that I've watched by somebody that I don't know. Yeah, I don't know that I have been, to be fair. Maybe Zucchero, who's still on tour, by the way. His third year is going to be... He's still on tour next year. Like, bro is not holding back. But anyway. So, I want to just acknowledge them. The musicality was incredible. And I think for women to have come together and to have created such insanely good vocals and just musicality and everything, I was floored. I was completely floored. And yeah, I knew it was going to be good, but I didn't know what to expect, but it was just amazing in that regard. And also, I think both of them were incredible actresses. So I don't want my opinions to reflect on what I think of the talent of Ariana and Cynthia, because I think they were insane. Like, so good. So incredibly good. Hats off to them. And for me, of all the people as I still describe Hollywood, as women, it was the most impressive performances I've seen in a while. Here's what I wanted to talk about female friendships. So there's going to be a lot of spoilers. If you haven't seen it, you may not want to watch this. Even if you have seen it, you probably still want to watch it. Even if you haven't seen it, you may still want to watch it, because you can look out for things and see if you agree with my thoughts. But basically, so they wrote the story really well, I have to say. The story was written so well. I think like the way that they filmed it, because it starts off with Ariana Grande being asked about the Wicked Witch, and did she ever know the Wicked Witch? There's rumors that they used to be friends. So she's obviously Glinda, and the Wicked Witch is Elphaba, and they both end up at this wizard school type of thing. And the funny thing for me with these stories is growing up was never allowed to watch these things. This is what I feel like I had for like at least the first like maybe I don't know how many years of my life I had like a proper Christian childhood, and then it all just went to hell, literally. So for me, a lot of my issues are not that I'm depressed about something that I've never had. I'm more depressed about something that I lost. So I'm actually in a state of remorse. I wasn't allowed to watch a lot of these things growing up. Wicked, Harry Potter, The Simpsons, Pokemon, like so many things I wasn't allowed to watch. Anyway, and I think it was actually for the best. I think that's why I see things a lot more measured, if you will. So, all of this is happening. Hold on a second. Yeah, so I don't know where this is going. I don't know the storyline of the Wizard. I don't know the Wizard of Oz. I don't know Wicked. I don't know any of the storyline. The most I knew was that Ariana Grande's character is Glinda and Cynthia is Elphaba. That's all I knew going into it. So I'm watching this, and obviously Ariana rises up as exactly as I expected her character would be. because she said, this character is perfect for me. This is exactly who I am. I was like, I bet it will be. And lo and behold, it was. You know, she's playing the goody goody. She's playing into the cutesy, like, don't judge me, don't question me. But realistically, I'm just self-absorbed. I don't really care about anyone, and everybody's just a means to my end. She played well into that. You know, sis cooked with that. We've got to give her flowers. Elphaba, obviously, she was born green. She was like isolated from her family. She's very kind-hearted and genuine. She's been through a lot, and she was still pushing. She wasn't supposed to be at the school. Whatever. I'm not going to get too much into the storyline because that's not the point. So when they first meet, Elphaba's the weirdo, and Ariana's the like, oh my gosh, everybody loves me character. And she played that so well. I have to give it to her. She played it so well. And she was really funny. And I've never known Ariana to be that funny, like as a character. So I was loving Ariana Grande as Glinda, honestly. As much as I was obviously looking at her like, girl, there ain't no such thing as a good witch, but that's a conversation for maybe this video. I don't know. So that's how she was. She's the good witch, supposedly, and Elphaba ends up being the bad witch. How does this all happen? A whole bunch of events. Now, I'm going to talk about where Elphaba went wrong as a character. And it's something that happens as women because I've experienced the similar things. So, Elphaba, fast forwards, you know, she went through a lot because she was green, whatever. That's not even the point. The point isn't about her being green. The point isn't about how people felt. The point I'm trying to get to is specifically about female relationships. Because when they became friends, they all became friends because Glinda, so on the same night, Glinda had given Elphaba a hat that her grandmother made that she would never wear, and she had said to bunch of her friends, or a couple of her friends, like a few of her friends, like a couple of her friends, I would never wear this, and I've never hated somebody enough to give them this hat, which she then gave to Elphaba, who was now her roommate. And at the same moment that night, because Elphaba's sister had gotten a date because of Glinda, she humbled herself and she decided to do something nice for Glinda. So the like master supremist of sorcery, whatever the frick her name is, was never interested in Glinda. She was interested in Elphaba because Elphaba, every time she'd get really emotional, she would like blow things up and stuff. So it's like she's got some powers she doesn't know she has. So Elphaba, after seeing what it did for her sister and after humbling herself, because I feel like it was a very humbling thing for her to do that, says to the master supremist, whatever the frick she is, lady, if you're going to give me these lessons, I need you to, I'm only going to do them if you also give them to Glinda, which Glinda didn't know. And they all had went out to this illegal party, and then, you know, she shows up last minute. This is Elphaba, and then Glinda done what she'd done, and so Elphaba shows up in the hat. That proves that she's the person that she hates the most. It was a very rude moment. And then they end up having a little moment together where they kind of understand each other, because Glinda actually feels really bad because she's realized, like, oh, this girl's done like everything for me, and all I was doing was plotting against her in the background. Now, this is again a very female thing. Like, this is so female. Like, this is why I hate cats. So that's happening. They become friends, whatever. And then Elphaba, because of her powers and because of her reacting to things, this Master Supremist woman, I don't remember what her name is. You see, I never remember the names of people that I don't like. That's the problem. This Master Supremist woman, she then, you know, messages the Wizard of Oz, the wizard, to say, we've got this crazy talent, you gotta meet her. She goes, and then so she has the opportunity now to get the train. Now, this is where the first issue came. And this is something I've realized, again, myself in life, is, so Elphaba is thinking, her and Glinda became bestie buddies. Literally best friends. And so she gets this offer to go to meet the Wizard of Oz. And Elphaba's obviously like, oh my gosh, let's go together. Like, no, And in the midst, obviously, there was a man involved. This is why, yeah. Can I really say this? Hold on. So many times women are fighting over a man, but it just doesn't seem like it. Because this is something that the Lord had to bring to my attention. Because I didn't see it. Because I don't fight over guys. Listen, if it's supposed to be, it's supposed to be. If I'm competing with somebody else, it's your way of thinking that's the problem. Because there ain't no competition if you're truly my man anyway. So that's how I feel. So I don't feel competitive towards anyone when it comes to men. Like, I'm not competing. I'm not trying to take your man. If you want this guy and he wants you, go ahead. I'm not going to try to cheat with him. I'm not going to try to prove myself to him. Listen, anything that is for me is already for me, and the Lord got my back. I'm not in competition with no one, okay? My only competition is myself. I say this so much. But I had to learn the hard way, as you do, as a woman. That's not how others see it. Anyway. And it's like, if he's not choosing you anyway, why do you care? Like, if he's chosen somebody else, and why are you going to go in there, to go against another? Like, that's so cringe to me. Like, I'm going to take advantage of a guy because what? Because now I can, like, stand there and be like, yeah, your man cheated on you with me. Like, that's weird. You're weird and you're cringy, like, and you're pathetic. Because if he's willing to do that, but whatever. I've learned the hard way. I've learned the really hard way about this dynamic in my own life. So anyway, Elphaba and the guy that Glinda likes hit it off because they're having an issue, and the issue is that for some reason there's all these laws happening against the animals. So the animals at this point can talk. They even have a couple animal professors, and somebody's trying to stop them from talking. Somebody's trying to kill them. Somebody's trying to do something. We don't know who that is. And then this prince gets involved with Elphaba about the situation. You know, Glinda doesn't really care because she's self-absorbed, but we're not hating on her because she's a very likable person despite, you know, her self-obsession. But she's very likable, you know. And so that starts to become a bit of a area, because it's like, well, why is he changing? And like, because they all did this whole song, and this song has to be my favorite song of the whole movie, was when Glinda and this prince guy were singing to each other that we deserve each other. It was just the most funniest thing ever. But anyway, so they're all like getting into the lovey-doveys, and she's all convinced that they're going to be married, whatever. The delusions that all of us women have, because we're all delusional. Hence why we feel like straight men are the problem, but we're just delusional. Even me. I'm also here in delusion. Like, if you guys knew. So, and I'm praying for deliverance in the spirit of delusion, because I'm here also doing the same things about fantasizing about certain things. It's really stressful. Having a womb is such an issue. Anyway, so these guys are doing all of that, yeah. And at least I acknowledge it, I feel. That's one step in the right direction. So then there's a little bit of a, you know, the initial niggle, because you can't really tell unless you've been in these situations, but you can see when that initial niggle hits, and I saw it because of a situation. We won't get into it because this is already a long video, going to be a long video, I feel. So then Elphaba now goes on the train because she's been invited to see the Wizard of Oz, because Master Supremus, whatever her frick name is, has sent him a letter. And at the very last minute, she's like, Glinda, come with me. So this is my first thing I wanted to point out, that there's this tendency. This is my message for the ladies of the winning team. Hi, ladies. I love you guys dearly. There's a tendency, when you're not like a jealous kind of person and you're not competing with anybody else, that people that will compete with you, you shouldn't bring them along on things you do. Like, I've learned this the hard way. Like, people will not be happy. You would think that somebody's there and they're happy for you, but they loved you at your worst. So like Galinda was loving Elphaba when Elphaba was like, oh no, this is the first time I've had like a proper friend, and like they were all doing whatever, and Galinda was the one like, you know, looking after the little puppy dog, looking after the little stray dog. She loved her. But as soon as now we start to see the climb, that's why I say to you guys as ladies, be prepared. Listen, I'll be your friend. Listen, you could be the greatest superstar, supermodel, super anything, and I will work in McDonald's. I will support you the heck out of you, because I'm not like that myself, and I feel like winning is for everybody anyway, whatever. Yeah, so when she was the little like, oh, she's in need of help and she's gone through all this stuff, obviously Galinda's all like, oh my gosh, I want to help you, I'm gonna make you my project. She said that, I'm gonna make you my project. Okay, that sounds nice, and it's nice when somebody hops in to help you and is the first person maybe to properly understand you, but don't fall for it as a woman, because let me tell you, that will backfire as well. So now when Elphaba's having all these opportunities, Elphaba's now like going to the Emerald City, right? And Galinda was starting to feel away because the prince is changing his mind, because he's realized that he doesn't want to hide maybe from how he was feeling about certain things that were going down. And then obviously Elphaba's obviously being invited and treated like this superstar, and the Master Supremist did not give a crap about Galinda. She could not care less. She actually told her to her face, I don't think you're capable of anything, like literally. Maybe not anything, but she said, I don't think you're capable, I don't think you have it in you. So Elphaba gets invited and she's like, let me bring Glinda, my bestie, and they do all these songs, you know. It was giving Frozen, love is an open door. So they're doing all of that, yeah. They go to meet the Wizard of Oz, and long story short, Glinda has to watch Elphaba basically be praised by this Master Supremist and the Wizard of Oz, because the Master Supremist showed up surprisingly like, are you kidding me? Was I never going to be here for your big moment? Whatever. And so she shows up for all of that, and then the wizard is all like, I built this place for you and whatever. And then Elphaba, obviously there's this whole story about how if you meet the Wizard of Oz, he'll grant you one... Why can't I say... I was going to say gish. It's wish. I'm actually not okay. Guys, pray for me. But anyway, so he's going to grant you one wish. So he's like, I'll grant you a wish. I'll grant you whatever, because that's what he's going to do. And initially her plan was to change her skin color, but then she decides to not to do that. And she decides she's going to ask for something to be done about these animals, because one of her professors had been taken out in a lesson with her and the prince and Galinda, and he was being taken, and she'd heard all these conversations between the animals about how they were all being killed, and there was some hidden plot against them that no one wanted them to speak anymore, and all this stuff. And so she's like, I want to fix this problem. And she's thinking in her ignorance, and this is where I actually relate to her for a moment, because I was thinking, this be me, like thinking that, like, this is all of us, thinking that speaking up to the people in power about injustices is going to get you anywhere. So she does that. Turns out the wizard is a fraud. He doesn't even have his own powers. He's not even a powerful person, but she can read the Gramarye, you know, this ancient book with an ancient language and ancient spells, and she does whatever she does. Now, as all of this is happening, Galinda is like here, just watching, kind of supporting, and Elphaba's like in the mental brain space of trying to choose what she's going to do. Now, I knew this was bad, because at this point I was thinking, all of this is leading up to Galinda to have the most highest level of resentment to Elphaba, because unless you're dealing with, and this is my lesson to the ladies out there, unless you're dealing with women who are truly self-assured, self-comfortable with themselves, when you succeed, they might be your bestie buddies when you guys are all struggling. The moment you start to succeed, they might not enjoy it, because they want to be the one. They want to be the one seen. They want to be the one worshipped. That's what I'm mentioning about Galinda and how she valued being worshipped above all else. So they want to be seen, they want to be worshipped, they want to be adored, they want to be loved, like, and whatever. And I don't get it. Personally, don't get it. I think people's worship is fickle. I think men are slaves to their flesh anyway. Like, who cares? Who cares if the whole world thinks that you're whatever? Like, who really cares? Like, at the end of the day, like, you know? And that's why I find it, I won't even get into that, actually, because it's not for this video. So, you know, Galinda's having these moments of insecurity because she's noticing that the prince has changed his behavior. Elphaba's now succeeding more than she intended for her to succeed. This is what I'm talking about, female relationships. When I've talked to guys, I feel like guys seem to have so much more of like an acceptance of, how do I put it? It's hard to put. Hold on. Of like levels, like to an extent. Because obviously if you're dealing with a guy that's super feminine, then he doesn't apply to what I'm about to say now. But like, it seems like guys can accept that like, this is our rich friend, this is our poor friend, this is our this friend, this is our that friend, like this is our different friends, and we can all exist. I don't believe that exists with women unless you meet women who are truly secure in themselves. Then unless you're all on the same level, the second your levels change, there's going to be a problem. And that's what I felt like what happened, because the Master Supremist lady was all about Elphaba and did not care about Galinda. But Galinda was the one who was desperate to work with her because she was desperate to become a sorceress. And of course, when we see the starting scene of the video, we hear that Galinda is the main, you know, witch that everybody trusts because she's the good witch and she's the good this and she's the good that. And I am so sick, can I just say, of how stupid society is when it comes to women, and like just falling for somebody that just puts on the best play in front of your face. But anyway, so that all happens. Long story short, Elphaba decides to turn on the wizard, because she realizes that he's just in this for gain. He's willing to torture the animals. And he literally said that the reason we did this to the animals is because we found that there was all this unrest in the kingdom, and nothing helps people come together like a common enemy, which sounds exactly, by the way, like what happened with the Pharisees, the Sadducees, the Herodians, the Zachariah, all of them with Jesus Christ. Is they were all arguing. All of Israel was arguing, which is hence why I believe it was the Roman Empire at the time, was overtaking them. But they loved it. They loved it because they now had a shared issue, which was Jesus, which is insane to me. You know, so he was like, oh, if the shared issue is the animals, there's Elphaba was like, I'm not standing around for this, because he wanted her, and this is the thing, he wanted her to sell out, basically, like, I'm gonna like live in the castle and I'm gonna be your little pawn and also the Master Supremist lady's little pawn, just so that I can live in a castle, because he thought that for her that was worth it, and it wasn't. And then it was worth it for Galinda, who was never the number one, even though she came into it thinking she was, and Elphaba came in thinking she wasn't. And then Galinda, oh my gosh, I can't wait to see Ariana Grande in part 2. Because I can't wait to see her wickedness, because I know she has it in her. I've said this to you guys. I think she's one of the most wicked women in Hollywood. I think she's one of the most wicked women, and I can't wait to see, because you could start to see because they had this whole really emotional moment together, because Elphaba was going to leave on the wand, and then Ariana Grande stayed because she didn't want to go, and she couldn't go with her and whatever. And then they parted ways, and then Ariana Grande's kind of switched, and she was all hugging up the Empress, because what ends up happening is Elphaba ends up getting literally like targeted by the whole of the entirety of the castle and stuff. And it was kind of insane. And she can read this ancient book and whatever else, so she's like the most powerful one there, technically, basically, is what we're saying. But Ariana Grande decides to stay back, or Galinda, and then they have a moment together where Glinda's like, you didn't have to do this, and and she's being hugged by this empress, that this supremist sorceress lady, whatever the heck she is, who had no regard for her. And this is what I'm saying. She was desperate. Like, she was desperate for the attention more than anybody else. She was desperate for the validation of others. She was desperate. And that's what I'm saying about this women thing, is that when it comes down to it, it's easy for us all to be bestie buddies when we're all at the bottom together. As soon as people start to succeed and do things, things start to change. As soon as it's the guy you like, whatever. And it's happened to me a couple of times. I'm not going to lie. That anyway, I won't say what's happened to me a couple of times because I don't actually want to go there. Let's come back. No, I'll say it. It's happened to me a couple of times. That I was in a situation, and obviously me being a black woman with the face of my own father, right? There's not a reality in this world where I ever think any man is looking at me in a positive light. Okay? I just want to be honest. And it's happened to me a few times that I've realized my issues have been because of the guys, because of what they are and are not doing, and my experience with them, and that the experiences that the girls aren't having. And it's happened a good few times, like more than I thought. And I honestly feel like it's just because I'm being more chill. That I feel like there's no other difference. Like, I'm not more beautiful than them. I'm not more like anything. I feel like I'm just maybe more chill. Because I'm not expecting anything, I talk to them as I would talk to a friend, if you know what I mean. So I know these situations, they happen. Like, the person who's trying really hard loses to the person who's not trying. And it's not necessarily because the person who's trying is like anything special. It's because the person who's not trying is just being more real, because they're not trying. They don't think anything is possible. So I know these situations, basically. I've learned this in retrospect, not in the moment. In the moment, I didn't see it like that at all. In the moment, I didn't see anything. So that's why I was confused why things were happening, but whatever, anyway, whatever. That's another thing with women that I want to mention, is that there's this like competitive element that we try to say, like, a lot of women, like, I'm one of the few women who can actually say that I genuinely do not care about the general male population interest in me. I do care about a male that I'm interested in, 1,000,000,000%. But the general male population, and also I won't compete. Like, I'm not going to compete with another woman, with a guy. I'm not going to try to prove myself more. I'm not going to, and it's not out of pride. It's out of like, you have the right and free will to do what you want to do. So do what you want to do. Like, be with who you want to be with. I'm not going to put on a performance. I'm not going to put on a facade. I'm not going to try and prove myself as good or something for the sake of you being interested in me now. Go with who you want to go with. It's up to you, because I'm not competing, and I'm not prepared to play these games that other people are. And so that's what I'm saying about this whole... Like, you couldn't catch me fighting over a guy. And it's not that I have the pride, it's that you have your own decisions as a man to make for yourself. If that's the decision you want to make, I'm going to let you get on with it. Like, genuinely. I'm not going to argue with you. I'm not going to smash your car. I'm not going to burn your house down. I'm just going to silently walk away. And yeah. So what I realized in all of that is that a lot of times, even if women are not admitting it, because I feel like this was one of the wedges, it was the first wedge between Elphaba and Glinda, because there was a time where, so there was a scene where Elphaba, Glinda, and the prince were all in the room together. And the freaking goat dude, who's their professor, had to announce basically that he was no longer going to be able to teach them. And then he gets arrested by these very scary looking men. Elphaba gets really upset, and she makes all of these poppies spin. People fall asleep. I'm assuming it's the opiate effects. And it's only her and the prince left alive. And I believe the prince is left alive because I believe Bro was doing drugs anyway because he's already reckless. And then they go to save the cub because there was this cub, and the school, the new teacher was priding themselves off of, we don't let the animals get to the point where they can talk. We stop them from whatever. So they saved him, and then it created an issue with Glinda because she was like, oh no, he's not perfect anymore. But you know what? I guess this is what normal people deal with, isn't like genuinely. And I was just like, wow. Because to me, that way of thinking, like in general, like I like normal people, but whatever. I'm not going to get involved. Because why am I going to get involved in this world that doesn't make any sense to me, like 90% of the time? So yeah, so there was that. And then that dynamic built between the two girls where, you know, Elphaba's out here like trying to be revolutionary. Galinda's out here mostly for her own selfish desires, but also a little bit for other people. And I don't want to take that away from her. She's not in my opinion, she's not a complete villain. Like I just want to say, but to me, again, like I said, it just reveals the nature of female relationships. Is that like at the end of the day, no matter what happens, we all become slaves to the guy. Whatever guy you want, whatever guy you feel like you're desired to have, you or deserve to have, you behave as though that's your destiny. Like, and if anything comes against it, you're willing to do whatever it takes, essentially, to prevent those things. And that's where I feel like the part 2 is going to go. I feel like with the part 2, the combination is lethal. You've got, so Elphaba makes the mistake of bringing Galinda because I think she did it because they were friends, but in reality, I feel like Galinda seeing her friend in so many good positions wasn't a good thing, because now like the jealousy is rising up. Then she's already noticed the difference between her and her guy that she's with, and the interactions that they've been having again. And then now Elphaba's like, screw this, I'm gonna be completely revolutionary. I'm ditching this whole system. I don't care. It's not good. Like, I don't care enough about this lifestyle to just participate. Like, you're the problem. Ariana really played her role in this story really well, because that's what I see of her. I told you guys this before. I feel like she's one of the most obedient in the entertainment industry people, of just like, I just want to be a star. I just want to be famous. I just want to be seen. I just want to be heard. I want to be adored. I get why, because before I didn't know the storyline. So every time she was saying, I feel like Glinda's my like character, I didn't get it. Now I get it. It is her character. It's her exact personality. She likes to be seen as good. She likes to be seen as loved and adored. She doesn't want to necessarily live up to that in real life, but as long as people believe it, that's good enough for her, because that's what she needs. And so that's just what she wants. And I mean, I get it. I get it in theory. That's what I'm trying to say. But I could never live my life like that. Like, and also that makes her the epitome of a good witch, in the sense of, you're still a witch. You're still doing manipulation and witchcraft. You're still manipulating the people to think a certain thing about you and think that it's for one reason, but it's for another. Because people think you're just good and caring and loving and sweet and kind. But realistically, you're just in this for yourself. Because as you said in your song, you felt you deserved this guy, right? And as soon as he now changes his opinion in the slightest, you feel like you're dealing with an imperfect guy, which is, for me, was like, really? Maybe he's having character development. That's called life and relationships, friendships, family. Like, people have character development. We all progress. We all should grow, ideally, right? You believed you had the right and the because of whatever your background is, to be the number one that the supreme whatever lady should care about. And then the irony was, once Elphaba now leaves on the freaking broomstick, and she's doing all the singing, try like defying gravity song, whatever. Ariana now folds because now this supreme sorceress, I can't even say it. Now that she cares about you, now you want to be with her. But she didn't care about you this whole time. You just cared about the clout. So I'm saying, now that your friend is stepping away and your friend was offering you to go with her, she's like, we can do this as a team. Like, let's be a team. You didn't want to. Not saying that she's right or wrong, because I feel like she's 100% like got the rights to step away if she wants to, like run her own journey, do her own whatevers. I'm not saying that I think she should have gone off with Elphaba. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that for her to be so quickly to fold to being here hugged like some other victim with this mistress supremist who was in on this whole project of killing the animals. And then it was her at the start of the movie, which is 2 hours and 40 minutes long, who said to the villagers once the so-called Wicked Witch had died, oh, yeah, I knew her. I went to school with her. And the people are chanting and screaming and happy because the Wicked Witch has died, because they've been sold this narrative about the Wicked Witch. And just as Elphaba takes off, they say, guys, they put out this message. She is the Wicked Witch because she wanted to protect the animals and the people, and they had selfish gain. And the Wizard of Oz doesn't even have powers. They did well. And they did well revealing the nature of female relationships, as in, like, I tell you guys all the time, women are angels or witches. There's no in between. There's no, like, and when I say that, there's a scale, obviously, like, is in terms of your observable, quantitatable things, you might argue is different. But the overall essence, it's clear. You're either here or you're either there. And that's what for me stuck out, because it was like, they went to the extent of calling her the Wicked Witch. So the movie starts out with people cheering that the Wicked Witch is dead. Right? But in reality, she's only the Wicked Witch because she went against the conspiracies of the people, the Wizard of Oz and the Master Supremist, whatever the heck her name was. And Galinda, the good witch, fell into line because it aligned with her own selfish desires. And Elphaba gets called the Wicked Witch. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the realities of being a woman in 2024 and in life. That when you are the one who plays the role of the goody good, when you're fake, you're inauthentic, you act like you care about everybody, you get worshipped. Yeah. When that all is a facade and realistically you're in that for your own selfish ambitions, ain't nobody spotting you. Ain't no one. And by the time when the movie started, because Galinda hadn't even unlocked any of her magical powers yet. But at the start of the movie, she was moving in her magical powers. So I already know that the Empress, sorceress, whoever she was, took her in and was like, I know we didn't appreciate you first, but we think you can even be even better than Elphaba, and we already know where this is going. Because she had the motive of, now she's feeling competed with in her relationship, competed with what coming because her friend casually, thinking that she could safely invite her friend to a good day, invites her to come to the Emerald City with her to meet the Wizard of Oz. She's seen everything, and now she's jealous and feeling entitled, and her real nature is coming out because she never really cared. She just wanted to be looked like as if she did care. And ladies and gentlemen, that is the nature of female relationships and the battle between females. It's always the ones that make everything, and I don't even care. Like, that's the thing. I don't care. Because to me, if you're going to be stupid enough to fall for those tactics, I don't need you in my life. I don't. And you don't have discernment because the Holy Spirit will let you know. And this is how men and women have been gotten for years. Even Jezebel, even Delilah, even whatever. Because I told you, the deception of femininity. We're trustworthy as long as we appear as cute and feminine and gentle. And we can do heinous things and we can get away with it. But the moment we're anything else, then we get judged. So the best thing that the devil could do to use a woman is to play the gentle. I'm just like a mother figure, like they do with the Kardashians, like they did with Oprah, like they do with so many women. Like, I'm gonna look like the gentle, loving mother, nurturing figure, because if I do, you people are gonna be so stupid enough to fall for it. And then the person or the people that they're competing against, who are never competing with them, are just like, go ahead, because honestly, you look dumb. And if this is the world that I live in, then we actually have serious problems. Anyways, that's what I've got to say, you guys, on that. It was a good movie. Like I said, I'm not taking away from Ariana's talent, her skills, her anything. She played her character really well, and so did Cynthia. Not taking away from that, but I'm just saying that this is the reality of female relationships. And so now for me, I'm wondering what they were crying about on tour. Like, everyone's like, oh my gosh, they were crying. Like, they were both crying. What were they crying about? I mean, don't get me wrong, I wanted to cry throughout the whole film, actually. And it was actually mainly just the beauty of their voices and the beauty of their talent. But, like, what were they going to cry about? I don't know. Anyways, life's a game, was pay to win. I'll leave it up to you guys. Sorry, I've been a bit sick, so if I seem a bit distant and a bit drowsy, it's because, yeah, I'm not feeling amazing. I'm feeling horrible. But I wanted to make some videos today because I knew it would boost my mood. Anyways, if life's a game, let's play to win. God bless you. God loves you. And I'll see you in my next life.